Hi, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today I'm going to tell you about a crochet along that we're going to start, and it's going to last the whole year, 365 days. Now, the way this works is this is called a temperature scarf. Now, last year I tried to make a temperature blanket, but it got just way too big that I ended up just tying it off and just making it into a fun blanket that I throw in the car. It's beautiful. The striping is wonderful. So the way a temperature blanket works is every day you'll crochet one stripe on your scarf, since we're doing a temperature scarf, and it's determined by a chart. And this is my chart here. I'm using actually the same one I used last year, and I'll have a picture of that up there for you. Now, the pattern is really simple. It's, 33 stitches wide, and we're making these fun little stitches. It's all single crochet and chain one. And in the video, I'm going to show you how to stitch the scarf and how to change colors and how to weave in your ends. The scarf is all stitched with worsted weight yarn. I'm using Red Heart with Love and H-hook. You'll need a needle because you'll need to weave in your ends every time you change colors, and of course a pair of scissors. And what I recommend is that you get a bag, you choose your colors. Now I'm using 8 different colors, and each one is determined by the temperature of that day. And this is probably backwards, but you can see that I have 8 different colors, and it starts with 89 degrees or above and goes down to below 22. That's because that's the way the temperature can vary in my area. Now you have to choose in your area what you're going to do. I'm going to use my phone, and I'm going to check each day what the high is for that day on my temperature app, and then I'm going to choose my color by going by the high temperature of that day. Now if you're in a region that the temperature doesn't fluctuate enough, just change it so that it works within your temperatures. You don't have to go by my chart. And this is just something fun to do together. Last a year, and every now and then I'll pop in and show you how far I've gotten on my scarf. Now this one I just stitched up to show you the stitches that we're going to be doing. Like I said, we're using an H-hook, so the stitching is small. It's all single crochets and chain ones, so they're thin rows. We have a beginning row and then 364 more rows with this fun little texture stitch that's really easy. So like I said, grab you a bag, pick out your yarns, get your chart, get your hook, a needle for weaving in, and a pair of scissors, and put them all in your kit. So, and then also get you a tablet, just something like this. I use this for taking notes, and you can write down the day if you can't be there, or you're say out and about, or you're at work or something. You can jot down the temperatures, and then you could do 2 or 3 in one day and not feel like you have to do it every day. And that's a good idea. Just grab you a pen and a notebook and throw it in your bag as well. Or maybe in your purse or your diaper bag if you're taking your kids to daycare or something. And so that's what we're going to do. It's really simple, and it's also really fun, and they make the most beautiful scarves. So let's get started. We're going to begin by placing a slip knot in our yarn. And then we're going to chain 34 chains. So I chained my 34 chains. And to begin, this is our foundation row of our scarf. And each row will change the color depending on the temperature, like we discussed before, of what you're choosing. For me, I'm going to be choosing the high each day that is on my phone app. So for the next row, we're going to be doing our foundation row. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So here's the first chain, and here's the second chain. So we're going to put our hook in there, pull up a loop. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, and go through those loops. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the chains across. And this is going to give us a total of 34 single crochets. I'm sorry, 33 single crochets, because we began stitching in the second chain from the hook. So just to make sure you understand, for this row, you're going to need 33 single crochets across. So I've stitched my 33 single crochets across. Then we're going to chain 1. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It is merely a turning chain so that when you turn your work, it lays nicely. Now, this next row will be how we stitch all the rows for our temperature scarf. So what you'll do is you'll place 1 single crochet in the first single crochet and chain 1. You'll skip the next single crochet and then single crochet in the next single crochet, chain 1. And we'll do this all the way across. Skip the next, single crochet in the next, chain 1. Skip the next, single crochet in the next, and chain 1. And we'll do this all the way across our row. And then I'm going to show you how to change colors, because you're going to need to know that to do the temperature scarf. So just to repeat one more time, skip the next single crochet in the next one, chain 1, and repeat. So once you've single crocheted, chain 1 single crochet across your row, make sure that you place 1 single crochet in the last single crochet. But if you're going to change colors, don't do your chain 1 yet. Get your new color, join it in, and then chain 1. And then go ahead and snip off the last color. And then turn, and then we're going to single crochet in that first single crochet and chain 1, and then you'll be, for the next rows, like I said, you'll be putting that single crochet in the single crochet, and then you'll chain 1, single crochet in that single crochet, and chain 1. And this is how we'll do every row, and it makes a really nice looking scarf. You'll always be putting single crochet, chain 1, and that single crochet goes right in that center of that single crochet, and it almost gives it a little bit of a knit look. This is similar to the moss stitch, but not exactly the same. And I like doing this one because it gives it just a little bit of texture. And you'll do that all the way across, of course, for every row. And I like to use this stitch because we're going to be doing 364 rows. And so you want a nice tight stitch, but also this gives it just a little bit of texture, and it makes a really pretty scarf. So go ahead and finish this row over, or I'm going to go ahead and finish this row across, and then I'm going to show you how to weave in your ends, because it's real important to go ahead and get those ends weaved in after every row, or you end up with a whole bunch of ends to have to weave in. I went ahead and cut off my beige yarn there, but I'm going to show you how to weave these in, because you're going to have a bunch of these at the ends of your rows. So you're going to need to put that on your yarn, and the way that I thread my needle is I wrap that yarn over the end of the hole, and it makes a nice little thing that can just shove right through that hole. And what I do is I go right in that stitch, and I go one way, make sure I get that end out, and then I'll go up to the next stitch and go right back where I came from. just like that. And I'll give it a little bit of a snug pull, but not too tight because we don't want it to pinch. And then you can give it a little bit of a pull. And I actually need to cut that just a little shorter, don't I? There we go. Now, when you're all done with your scarf, you can always go back and put an edge on it if you want to, but I don't want to. I want it to look nice so that I don't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in this one as well. I'm going to go right back in that stitch, making sure that I'm weaving in to the color that I just stitched with, because if you weave it in, it might show in the color. Like for instance, if I would have weaved this beige one in down here in the blue, it might show. And if you do this right, the scarf can be where it looks pretty on both sides. And that's the way we're going to do our temperature scarf. That's the stitch. Single crochet, chain one, single crochet, and then from this row on, we're going to do it exactly the same. Make sure you put a single crochet on each end, and then chain one, single crochet in the single crochets all the way across every row. And you're going to end up with just a beautifully striped temperature scarf.